All right. Hope everyone's doing well. I want to make a comment on a YouTube um, commenter that I ran into. His name is Reuse. This just like that's what it looks like. Uh, but he challenged me because of my faith, saying that because I guess he's an atheist, he doesn't believe in God, therefore he's superior. So we're going to go over the scientific data that we have and what is belief and what is faith and what can they prove with their evidence. Is evidence versus evidence, science versus faith? Who comes out on top? And can they prove what they believe? And as you will see in the next few minutes, I hope you stay around. Please like, share, and subscribe. That the atheists secularists have less to stand on than a true Bible believing Christian. Now, the evidence questions, they cannot escape. Uh, the writer tried to corner me by saying evidence must be observable, repeatable, and measured. He said that a man of faith has no right to talk about evidence. He made a scientific claim. Therefore, I will answer him with science on science, the very standard he appealed to defeat my argument before we even reach theology. Let's start with what they run from, the atheists, the those that believe in evolution. We'll start with abiogenesis. It has never been observed. Life coming from non-life has never been seen in a lab. It has never been repeated. It has never been measured. Scientists have tried to produce the first cell under controlled conditions more than 100 years. They have not created a working cell. They have not created self-replicating genetic material from raw chemicals. They have not resolved solve the information problem with DNA. They have theories, baseless theories, no foundation, which are no more than guesses. They want to speak, and they do so in a condescending way. Um, Make sure my speaker's on. Yeah. In a condescending way that tries to negate the fact that they have no evidence. All right. So they have guesses. They do not have observable or repeatable proof. They do not. If you use their own standards, abiogenesis fails the test. And this is what I'm saying to you out there. And this is what I'm saying to my critic on YouTube. Now let's go into macroevolution, which has never been observed. Macro, from species to species. Oh, it takes billions of years. All right, let's go. Large scale evolution requires one creature to develop new structures. The eye, the nose, the tongue, the arms, the legs, sexual organs. Well, it's billions of years. You're speculating blindly and new genetic information. That alone, they can't prove. DNA disproves all their factors. Science has never seen that happen. Not one time. All observed changes stay within the limit of the original kind, the original animal. You can breed finches and still get only finches. You can adjust dog traits and still only get dogs. You can mutate fruit flies and you still get only fruit flies. No one has ever watched a new body plan form. No one has ever seen a reptile gain feathers. No one has ever seen a land creature turn into a whale. their standard, and this standard, this critic of mine, demands repeatable data. Evolution cannot give it. Therefore, they are relying on more faith than so-called Christians who are backwards, and we live in a stone age where a book was written 2,000 years ago or more. The fossil records show bursts, not transitions. The fossil record should show slow, gradual steps from one major body type to another. They have to fill in these gaps with their faith, with their belief. They have nothing else to go on. It does not. It does not have that material that they're looking for. It only shows sudden appearances. It shows fully formed creatures arriving in the record without transitions linking them. The Cambrian explosion is the clearest example. Major animal groups appear together with complex structures already in place. That event is not gradual. It is not slow. It is not repeated in any observable process. It does not match their standard. They want to throw science. It is their religion of science. It is their religion or scientism that they follow, not pure, true natural science. DNA requires information, and information requires an intelligent source. DNA uses a four-letter code. It stores instruction. Information has meaning. It does not arise from accidents in any known natural process. Random mutations break information far more often than it builds. You take 2 steps, 10 steps back to get 2 steps. You're not going towards progress, you're going against it. Random mutations break information far more often than building it. Experiments confirm this. The law of information says that coded language always points back to a mind. There is no natural example where random chemistry creates coded information. Their standard requires repeated tests. The tests support design, not unguided natural creation. Laboratory work does not produce what evolution requires. Scientists have done mutation studies on bacteria for decades. They reproduced thousands of generations. They watched the DNA change. They saw small variations, adaptations. They did not see a new organism. They did not see the rise of complex new organs. I want to make this point. There's one cell, and then there's many cells. There's no 2 cell, 3 cell, 4 cell, 5 cell. They don't see it. It's not in nature. What of it? They did not see the upward climb that their claim demands. These experiments contradict their standard for evolution and support the limits of natural change. Is always within its kind. Their claim evidence, like talking to this writer, his claim evidence while ignoring his own tests. Like, put it this way: scientists claim we got to use scientific method until you call them out on it, and then they say, "Well, science can't answer all things." Well, it's a lot of things that we can't answer, but they don't want to put us on the same footing because they know they would lose. They accuse us of hypocrisy because we believe in a God, yet their own worldview cannot meet the standards they set. Abiogenesis fails the test. Microevolution fails the test. Transitional fossils fail the test. DNA information theory fails the test. Mutations based on development fails the test. None of these processes is observable, repeatable, or measurable in a way they demand from us. They cannot produce lab results. They cannot produce repeated confirmations. They cannot produce direct observation of major changes. There is none. They doing guesswork, miserable guesswork. But the lie has held on for the last 150 years, but it is starting to fracture, and it will fracture. All lies will come to an end sooner or later. Their argument attacks faith while standing on faith. They have no proof. Then they say, well, we're not looking for proof, or you don't have no evidence. You have an interpretation of what is there. That is all. You're interpreting, you are committing assumption after assumption and not getting anywhere. You said that I rely on faith rather than the evidence. However, their position relies on unobservable events, unrepeatable processes, and unmeasured assumptions about the distant past. They trust natural processes that no scientist has ever witnessed. They trust steps that no scientist has ever recreated. They claim scientific certainty when the science has no data that meets their own standards. They're bluffing. They get paid by the millions, but it's not how high you grow or how tall you get. They're going to fall. And when they fall, their house is going to crumble. But in the end, there is a God that we all answer to. So they may snicker and hide the truth and lie through their teeth, but the day is coming. If scientists, if scientists want science, then accept the limits of science. They don't have it. Science cannot test change within limits. Science can test change within their limits. It cannot watch the origin of the universe. It cannot watch the origin of life. It cannot watch the origin of complex body plans. It cannot observe the history of the earth in real time. These are historical questions, not laboratory events. You use the wrong tool and then accuse me of weakness. That is not science. That is a shield to avoid the deeper question of origin and meaning. Final word to them. If you want evidence, then use your standard honestly. Do not move the goalpost when your worldview fails the test. Abiogenesis has no lab confirmation. Microevolution has no repeated observation. DNA information demands intelligence. Fossils show sudden appearances. These are scientific facts. You ask for observable, repeatable, measured outcomes. Your own position on abiogenesis and evolution should supply them, but it don't. All right, thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, share, and subscribe. Let me know. Drop a comment. Am I right? Am I wrong? Where do I go wrong? Bring your facts. All right, bring your receipts. So I appreciate all you tuning in. God bless you, and see you on next time.